British Prime Minister Boris Johnson wanted to usher in an astonishing moment of hope and a new era of friendly cooperation between the EU and Great Britain when his country left. But almost a year after the end of the Brexit transition phase, the outcome of Britain's exit from the EU looks anything but good. Hardly any promises made by those in favor of Brexit have been fulfilled. Instead, problems arise everywhere. And the relationship with their neighbors on the continent keeps reaching new lows. Brexit, it seems, has become the elephant in the room, the obvious case of various difficulties, but nobody in Great Britain wants to name them. Let's first talk about migration. Immigration was one of the most prominent issues in the pre-Brexit referendum campaign. One wants to regain control over one's own borders, so the slogan of the Brexiteers. The fact is, more migrants are now illegally entering the UK via the English Channel than ever before. This year alone, there were around 26,000, more than 3 times as many as in the whole of 2020. They can hardly be sent back because Great Britain no longer belongs to the corresponding agreement after the completion of Brexit at the turn of the year. The boat accident with 27 deaths in the English Channel at the end of November highlighted the crisis. Stricter immigration rules also prevent urgently needed skilled workers, such as truck drivers, from entering the country. Food and fuel shortages that kept Britain under control over the summer have been dismissed by the government as a global problem. However, there were no queues at the petrol stations and sometimes completely empty shelves in the supermarkets like in Great Britain in other European countries. Then there's the dispute over Northern Ireland. The ongoing controversial issue of Northern Ireland is putting a strain on relations with Brussels, Dublin, and even Washington. London wants to overturn or at least drastically weaken the arrangement that was laboriously negotiated in the Brexit agreement, which gives Northern Ireland a special status. At times, there was even talk of a trade war because of this, and that might come back. That seems to have been averted, at least for the time being, after the British Brexit minister has struck softer tones in recent weeks, but I think they didn't want to have that on Christmas, I guess. Now it's puzzled whether the British government is actually interested in an amicable settlement in the dispute over the so-called Northern Ireland Protocol, or whether it just wants to avert the danger of new bottlenecks before Christmas, to instead initiate the escalation in the new year. In any case, trust in Prime Minister Johnson's government seems to have reached a low point in Brussels. The EU Commission is reluctant to express itself in front of the cameras, and there's talk of a change in tone, which is welcomed. But that it with all hopeful signals, there's nothing more. Behind the scenes, clear text has long been spoken. With its aggressive and confrontational demeanor, the Johnson government has done a lot in recent months to largely use up its trust credit in Brussels and the EU capitals, said an EU diplomat to the German press agency. And that's an opinion with which he's not alone, definitely not. Bilateral relations with Paris and Berlin, well, Brexit has badly damaged the relationship between neighbors France and Great Britain. On the one hand, there is the tussle about fishing licenses that have not been issued for French fishermen. On the other hand, there are allegations from London that Paris is not taking checks on its coast precisely enough to prevent migrants from traveling. In the Élysée Palace, there's already resentment about the submarine deal between France and Australia, which has been brought down by the USA and Great Britain. And Brexiteers like Tory MP and cabinet member Jacob Rees-Mogg, who recently smugly remarked that the French were always moody in October because of their defeat in the Battle of Trafalgar on October 21st in 1805, are happy to add fuel to the fire. In Berlin, too, the faxes from London are thick, it seems. EU State Minister Michael Roth from the Social Democrats recently made this more than clear. The dear friends in London and Great Britain should now come to their senses, he said on a visit to Brussels about the dispute over the Northern Ireland Protocol. They want to damn well work together in a spirit of partnership and friendship. To do this, it's necessary that they don't always have to argue about what they have actually agreed But what do people think? On average, the UK is just as divided about EU membership as it was at the time of the Brexit referendum in 2016. Around half of Britons are in favour of a return to the European Union, and almost as many do not want to hear about it. It is clearer, however, when the question is whether, in retrospect, if the exit was a mistake. A majority that regrets the move has long been formed there. This is astonishing because none of the opposition parties really question Brexit, says British expert John Curtis from the University of Strathclyde in Glasgow. The people on both sides of the dispute are still convinced of their original view. Curtis says, the glow is still there that this debate could flare up again. He said that recently in a podcast by the think tank What UK Thinks. And what does the opposition do? In fact, the British opposition parties are largely avoiding the issue of Brexit. They burned their fingers too badly in the last general election when Johnson achieved a massive election victory with his slogan, Get Brexit Done. Opposition leader Keir Starmer from the Labour Party therefore announced that there would be no campaigns for re-entry into the EU. Instead, they want to ensure that Brexit works. How this should work is not yet clear in detail. The legal scholar Holger Hestermeyer from London's King's College recommends first re-establishing the relationship of trust. He says, a solution requires goodwill, trust and new ways of exchange. He said that in an interview with a German press agency, and he said, the former are increasingly lacking. This makes it all the more urgent to work on new forms of cooperation. And just one thing to add, so many of you commented on this, so I will also do book reviews in the future, not only in German, but also in English, because so many of you asked for them. I will do it. You will see the first one in a couple of days with one of my very favorite books. I'll keep you posted when it will start. And then after that, at least once a week on Sunday, you will get a book review in English too. I'll see you in my next video. Bis gleich.